How are you, Senior Rothschild?
Can you tell us what happened at the Bilderberg meeting this year? Yes, can you tell us what happened at the Bilderberg meeting this year?
I actually didn't go to Bilderberg. You didn't go either. What happened last year? No, I didn't go there last year. It happened last year, I think. It was my neighbor.
So you are Nathan Rothschild. It's the beginning of the 19th century, 1816. You're not just another banker in London, you're also the richest man in the world. You are the protagonist, carrying on your shoulders the ambition of your father, Meyer Rothschild, along with your 4 brothers, spread across Frankfurt, Vienna, Naples, and Paris, to form an international financial network that would be described by many as the invisible kings of Europe. Exactly as your father wanted, you and your brothers were taking the legacy of a banking house that was born in the poor alleys of Frankfurt to unimaginable places. When the British Empire needed money to defeat Napoleon, it was you at the London branch who financed it with tons of gold. When Brazil wanted to break free from Portugal, it was you who provided the loans for independence. When Egypt went bankrupt and was forced to sell its share. In the Suez Canal in 1875, the one who rushed to finance the British Empire this time was none other than your son, Lionel de Rothschild. Without the Rothschilds, the Suez Canal, the most strategic maritime route on the planet, might never have become a jewel in the British crown. It's no wonder that their descendants would end up receiving baronial titles in the following years, and some even entered the British Parliament. And after the Napoleonic Wars, it was their family that led the loans to rebuild Europe. But not only that, they financed the first Jewish settlements in Palestine, taking a major step toward the founding of the Zionist State of Israel. With all these moves, in the 19th century, the Rothschilds earned the title of the richest family in the world. The clan owned 44 mansions, palaces, and castles across Europe, enough to make any king envious. Newspapers then claimed no European government would go to war without consulting them first. The Rothschilds, their surname, were always present where the most important decisions were made. Because of this and other reasons, without much historical evidence, the following phrase came to be attributed to the patriarch of the family: "Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws." But these are just the glories and legends of the past. The question that still echoes today is another one. Do the Rothschilds on some level still control the world, or has that power been lost over time? And it was exactly this doubt that led me to investigate into a rabbit hole complex and flooded with conspiracy theories. But in the midst of so much craziness, I found a clue from a primary source, which appeared in something seemingly trivial: a street interview with one of the family's descendants, Jacob Rothschild, and the sentence he let slip, maybe even unintentionally, revealed the secret of how the Rothschilds currently maintain the rest of the fortune and power that made them the richest banking dynasty on the planet. In the 19th century, the power of the Rothschilds was uncontested, but the 20th century brought new giants. The Americans Rockefeller and Morgan built industrial and banking empires that began to compete for the financial crown. Even among the Rothschilds, they married among themselves, cousins with cousins, and even uncles with nieces to keep the wealth within the family clan. Gradually, the name Rothschild faded from the headlines. The family's own structure contributed to this. Of the 5 branches, only London and Paris remained standing. Throughout the turbulent period of 2 world wars that ravaged European territory, internal disputes also ended up helping to dilute their prominence in international finance. But the decline was only apparent because while the public saw the family as a shadow of the past, in discreet circles, the Rothschilds remained present. And a phrase from an heir would reveal exactly that. Imagine Jacob Rothschild, a man, just like most of the family's descendants, used to living away from the spotlight. He inherited Weyersden Castle, built in the 1880s by Ferdinand de Rothschild. There, Jacob entertained many from high society, from King Charles III and Queen Camilla to the Clintons, Ryan Buffett, Madonna, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and even the powerful Henry Kissinger. Being a person of the true elite, he always preferred private gatherings to interviews, but on one occasion, he was surprised by someone with a camera on the street. The person confronted him with questions about power, influence, and conspiracies, and then Jacob let slip something he probably didn't want to. My cousin was at the Bilderberg Club. The sentence seems innocent, but for those who know the weight of that name, it hits like a bomb. Because the Bilderberg is not an ordinary event, it's not just a simple business conference. It's the most exclusive meeting on the planet where political leaders, billionaires, bankers, and media moguls gather. If a Rothschild is still present in this club, it means that the thread of power may never have been cut. But after all, what exactly is this club? Bilderberg. The year is 1954, and a luxury hotel in the Netherlands called Bilderberg hosts a discreet meeting. There, an annual meeting was born that would forever change the way global power is organized. The stated goal was simple: to bring European and American elites closer together after the war. The real goal, however, is shrouded in mystery. One thing that is released to the mainstream media there is only selective lists of participants, and even those lists are incomplete. According to Cristina Jimenez, author of The Owners of the World, the Bilderberg works as a forum where the global elite aligns their interests away from the public eye. There, presidents talk with CEOs of multinational companies, ministers meet with central bankers, and decisions that shape the future of nations are discussed without any transparency. For decades, names like Reckinger, David Rockefeller, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Larry Fink from BlackRock, Michael Bloomberg, Google executives, former CIA agents, and even sitting presidents have been on the list. The mere fact that the meeting exists already raises suspicions. If there's nothing to hide, why all the secrecy? So, it's no surprise that this video probably has a Wikipedia tab open about some term mentioned here during the video. However, it's exactly in this context that Jacob Rothschild's phrase gains weight. Because if one of your cousins is present at one of the most exclusive meetings in the world, a club that decides the future of the world away from the eyes of society, that raises another question. If the Rothschilds still have a seat in this club, has the dynasty really lost its power? Today, the family no longer owns 44 mansions, but they do have 60 offices spread across 47 countries, providing financial consulting for companies, families, and even governments. The Rothschild and Company Bank still exists and is considered one of the largest independent financial services groups in the world. The fortune of the descendants is currently managed and multiplied through discrete investment funds, managing assets and wealth for other wealthy families, and also advising on billion-dollar mergers and acquisitions. In every corner of the world, 4,600 people work at the group's company to keep the Rothschild dynastic inheritance machine running in 2024. This machine generated a revenue of 2.9 billion euros for the family bank. On their website, they boast about being the preferred consultancy for governments and state-owned companies. They were pioneers in government privatization programs in the 1980s and advised Cyprus, Greece, Ireland, and Portugal on economic reform programs during the global financial crisis of 2008. The Rothschild family also controls 26.7% of the shares of one of the world's leading magazines, the infamous The Economist. So, there is no doubt that they remain influential in the media and manage the main deals that happen between companies and governments. The logic changed in the 19th century. They were synonymous with more direct power. In the 21st century, the Rothschild surname almost disappears, but the influence remains behind the scenes. They don't need to officially appear as owners of everything. It's enough for them to be present at the right tables, on the right boards, and in the right clubs. After all, what really built the family's fortune was exactly that: privileged information. What is known today as insider trading. That's what Nathan Rothschild did in June of 1815 when Napoleon lost the fierce Battle of Waterloo. Nathan was the first to know, even before the British Empire, with a 48-hour advantage. In a world without the internet, without telephones, the message reached him first through his messengers who were watching the battle. Upon receiving the information firsthand, Nathan made a fortune by buying government bonds in bulk and reselling them a year later with a 40% profit. It may seem like a small margin, but for the family's level of leverage, this would bring in millions in profit. There are rumors that he manipulated the London Stock Exchange by implying that the French had won the battle, making everyone panic sell both bonds and stocks. Then, he bought them when the prices were at rock bottom. And when the real information about the defeat came out, prices would obviously skyrocket, allowing Nathan to profit even more. However, this account remains just a rumor due to the lack of strict historical evidence. But it's important to remember that just because conspiracies aren't proven, it doesn't mean they didn't exist or aren't true. After all, as the saying goes, history is written by the winners. Even so, the fact is that it was through war that they made the family's great fortune. It is estimated that Nathan, at the London branch, in the months following the Battle of Waterloo, made a profit of £600 million. So, what is the true legacy of the Rothschilds? In the 19th century, they funded wars and empires, but in the 20th, they lost their visible power. But they kept their fortune by investing in other areas such as wineries and railroads, with the Rothschilds financing the first railroad networks in France, India, Brazil, and other countries. Already in the 21st century, they appeared discreetly at global forums like the Bilderberg Club, where the most valuable information is shared among the world elite. They are certainly no longer the richest family on the planet. The family is quite dispersed. Some live in Europe, others in the United States, and some in Israel. The fortune is very hard to estimate. Some say their combined worth is trillions, while others estimate about $1 billion. Several people theorize that they are secretly behind trillion-dollar funds, such as BlackRock and Vanguard. After all, in today's world, it's very easy to hide through offshore companies. Maybe they don't rule the world like before, but they are still a symbol of something greater, the kind of power that doesn't need to be seen to exist. While conspiracy theories multiply crazy versions, like, for example, that they financed Karl Marx and the Russian Revolution, the reality is more subtle. The real secret of the Rothschilds was not openly ruling the world, but learning to remain in the shadows, sitting at the table where the fate of the planet is discussed. That's the family's best trick now. Not as owners of the world, but present when the world is decided. To better understand this invisible power, I highly recommend watching the 2 other documentaries already posted on the channel. Hey guys, what's up? Marco's here. I have to admit, this video gave me a headache. Nothing else to do. I aim to present, as concisely and thoroughly as possible, the centuries-long story of hatred, legends, conspiracies, omissions, lies, and half-truths about the richest family of modern times. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you're not subscribed and you like this kind of content, take the opportunity to subscribe and leave a like on the video to help with engagement. And if you want to support the channel, you can become a member or make a donation through live pics. Feel free to leave a suggestion for a topic to be covered here in the next videos as well. If you want to contact me directly, my personal and channel Instagrams are on the screen along with the email. If you want to discuss something professional, God bless, take care, and see you next video.